At just 17 years old, Martin Garrix became the #1 DJ on the planet. Not number 5, not number 10. Number 1. At an age when most people are still trying to figure out their future, Martin Garrix was already performing in front of massive crowds around the world. But behind the success story everyone celebrates was years of obsession, pressure, and a battle to protect the music he created. This is the untold story of Martin Garrix. Amstelveen, Netherlands, 1996. A young boy named Martin Garrix grows up in a quiet suburb outside Amsterdam. From an early age, music completely consumes him. Then one moment changes everything. At just 8 years old, Martin watches Daft Punk perform on television. The helmets, the lights, the energy of the crowd, and instantly something clicks inside him. He turns to his parents and says, "That's what I want to do." His parents smile. They don't realize yet. He means it completely. Martin teaches himself music production almost entirely on his own. No expensive studio, no famous mentor, no shortcuts. Just a laptop, music software, and obsession. At 13 years old, he spends hours every day studying production tutorials online and recreating the sounds of his favorite artists. He analyzes tracks piece by piece, every beat, every melody, every transition. Slowly, his music starts sounding professional. Then, at just 14 years old, Martin sends a demo to Tiësto, one of the biggest DJs in the world. To his surprise, Tiësto actually replies. He tells the teenage Martin that his music has real potential. For a kid producing tracks alone in his bedroom, those words changed everything. In 2013, Martin Garrix released a track called Animals. He was only 17 years old. The song spread across clubs, festivals, and radio stations faster than anyone expected. First Europe, then America, then the rest of the world. Animals became one of the defining electronic tracks of the decade. Almost overnight, a teenager from the Netherlands became one of the most talked about DJs on earth. But what impressed people around him most was his reaction to success. Martin didn't slow down. He worked even harder, because deep down, he understood something important. One hit song could make you famous. But consistency is what creates a real career. But success also brought problems nobody expected. Behind the scenes, Martin Garrix became locked in a serious legal battle with his record label, Spinnin' Records. At just 18 years old, he found himself fighting one of the most powerful labels in electronic music for the rights to his own songs. Music he had created himself. The situation became public, stressful, and extremely expensive, but Martin refused to back down. After years of legal battles, he successfully regained control of his music and his brand. And then he made a decision that defined the next chapter of his career. He launched his own label, STMPD RCRDS, not just to release music independently, but to help protect young artists from going through the same experience he did. By the time Martin Garrix turned 20, he had already achieved what many artists spend an entire lifetime chasing. Ranked the #1 DJ in the world by DJ Mag for 3 consecutive years. Headlining the biggest festivals on earth, Tomorrowland, Ultra, Coachella, EDC. Collaborations with artists like Lipa, Bebe Rexha, and Khalid. Billions of streams across his music catalog. And despite all of it, Martin Garrix remains surprisingly grounded. Very few scandals, very little drama, just relentless focus on the music. Then came one of the defining moments of his career. In 2021, Martin Garrix was selected to create the official music for the Tokyo Olympic Games, one of the most watched events in the world. Billions of people hearing his music simultaneously. And in that moment, the story came full circle. The boy who once watched Daft Punk perform on television as an 8-year-old was now creating music for the entire planet. From a bedroom near Amsterdam to the Olympic Games. That is the Martin Garrix story. Today, Martin Garrix is one of the most successful electronic artists of his generation. But what makes his story inspiring was never just the fame or the money. It was the obsession, the discipline, the refusal to quit when things became difficult. Because behind every massive success story, there are years of invisible work almost nobody sees. And Martin Garrix never stopped believing that his music could reach the world. Subscribe for more untold stories behind the artists who changed music forever.